Okay, so I'm at the polishing stage now. I haven't filmed all of the polishing. If you saw my last video, I did it at high speed because it's boring watching cleaning, I think. But you saw me using my aluminium brush, and I was literally just scrubbing every single piece to get the rust off. And then, going back and dipping my brush into the WD-40 just to keep cleaning. So I've done that with all of the chrome pieces now. I did the hinges as well. They're not too bad. So I just wanted to show you a bit about polishing. So this hasn't been polished. I mean, the rust has come off. There's a couple of pits marks, and that's just where the rust has eaten into the chrome, and then you've got the bare metal underneath. But considering this was quite rusty before, it's shined up quite nicely, but it does need a polish. So I'm going to go through that in a minute. You will notice that I was using this, which is just an old chopping board. It just gives me a bit of grip when I'm cleaning. But if I just show you this, so remember from the previous video, this had a horrible rust line. Now you can still see that rust line, but the rust side, it's just, there's scarring and pitting. You can see there's like millions of dots. That's just where the rust is eaten through. I mean, rust is nasty. If it's left, it will just keep eating and eating like a rust monster. But I've got all the rust off, and I've given that a polish, so you can see when I put it in the light just how shiny that's come up. So that's not too bad. So I have polished everything. I've noticed, let me just get it, on one of the throat plates. Now that this has been polished up as much as possible, but can you see that mark there? That is where, if I bring it in close, that is where the chrome, it might got hit, or it's just a rust mark and it's eaten into the chrome. I can't do anything about that unless I stripped the whole thing off and re-chromed, and I'm not doing that. You probably saw, if you did watch the cleaning video, it does take a bit of time, and it takes a lot of elbow grease and patience and just lots of scrubbing. If I could, there is a much easier way, and that's to pop everything into a sonic cleaner. I don't have a sonic cleaner. I could buy one, and it would make the cleaning process quicker, but I quite like manual cleaning. I don't know why, but it's quite fun because you're getting into all the tiny little pieces, but a sonic cleaner will just take it all off very quickly. So that's the only thing I can't deal with, is just this chrome part. But because that's the slide plate that goes in, it's not, although it's a mark, it's not rough, so it's not going to affect fabric catching or anything like that, so I'm not going to worry about that. But polish. Okay, so with Autosol, what it does, and I'm going to talk to you as I do it, obviously it polishes it up, but what Autosol does, from what I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but it will, obviously it's going to clean it up, but what it does is it takes a super fine layer of dirty chrome off. So you've got to be careful not to leave the Autosol on for too long, otherwise it will just start eating through. Now, my toothbrush is a bit mucky, but that's because I've just been polishing. So what I do is about a pea size amount. You really don't need too much. Now at the moment it's a nice white, oh, my lid won't go on. I'm going to hold this up to the camera, otherwise my camera's going to jiggle. So it's like a white creamy colour at the moment. So I just use the toothbrush to just mix that white all the way in. And what you will start to notice is it will stop being white, and it will start to go like a browny colour. Well, depending on how dirty it is. And then what you'll start to notice is it will go runny. And when it goes runny, that's when you know it's starting to pick up everything. Now, normally I would do that. Actually, I'm going to try and do it. Normally I would put it down and hold it, but I know that it's going to make the camera jiggle. So you can see it's starting to go a different colour now. So this is what I've done with all of my pieces. I'm just going to spin it round. And I don't use a toothbrush is just fine for this. You need strong elbows, I think. But what will start to, if I move that, it's starting to go like a dirty, but it's starting to go a bit runnier. And that's lifting off all the rest of the dirt from the chrome. And then, excuse me, then what I do, now that it's gone like brown, slightly brown, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it has gone from being a creamy colour to brown. Initially I just get kitchen towel and I'm going to wipe all that off, but I'm going to start to buff it. And I've got a duster ready as well. The way I know that it's buffing up well is because of the friction. It will start to heat the plate up. So I know once it's warm in my hand, I know that I've done a good job. So initially, I'm just going to take off the auto sole. You can see that's all the dirt coming off. And then I'm going to get my duster. Let's say it's a good workout. Well, it's a good workout for one elbow. So I can feel that in my hand starting to heat up. And let me just turn it over. So you can use a Dremel. This will have, a Dremel for the rust cleaning and also for the polishing. I do have a Dremel, but it's so loud I can't actually do that on camera. There you go. And that's 10 times better than it was, and it's nice and shiny. So that's that bit done. So this is what I've done to all of the metal piece, all of the chrome pieces, so they are all ready to go. Now, the other thing I want to show with the polishing, I'm going to have to, there, that's nice and lovely. Okay, I'm going to put that over there. Now, let me, because what I want to do is angle the camera up. Let's see if that's going to be in shot. Sorry, I'm using a tripod-y thing, which means, okay, because what I want to show you is that spool pen. That's quite difficult to clean up, so like especially with a brush. I need to put my choppy board somewhere. Let's put that down there, and then I will bring this in a bit closer. Okay, so it's quite difficult to clean that, and this one doesn't actually come out, so I am going to clean it with auto sole, but I'm also going to use string. So kitchen towel, and I'm just going to poke that over the top so the auto sole isn't going to go all over the machine and down into the little oil holes. And then I've got a piece of string. Let's see, is that better like that? So this isn't actually too bad. You can see it's some slight markings there, but now you don't need much, so that's as much as I'm going to blob on. Oh, I still can't get the tube thing to fit. And then with your piece of string, so it's only a relatively short bit. What is that? That's about 12 inches. And I'm going to loop it like that. And sorry, I'm trying to do this on camera because I want some of it to. So now what I'm going to do is just slowly work that. Oops. Right, slowly work that up and down, but what I'm going to do is pick up speed. Now you can see how dirty the string's becoming already. So I'm just working this up and down. Starting to pick up the kitchen towel, but that's not too bad. Right, now I'm going to, you can see how much muck's come off of that. I'm just going to top it up with a little bit more, just a tiny amount. Move my string down a bit. Maybe I should have cut off more string. But it's doing two things. It's the auto sole is working its way through. The speed of pulling the string back and forth is creating heat and friction, and it's wiping off muck at the same time. And my camera's jiggling. Okay, let me take that off. So there you go. So just that little pole, you can just see how much muck and dirt was on it, but it's 10 times cleaner than it was. I mean, it is just the spool pin, but that's nicer. And then if I push this back a bit, now I've given this inside a clean. I didn't use WD-40 in this. I just used my aluminium brush and gave it just like a dry brush. What I did was, if I lift that up, is I tucked a kitchen towel underneath and then pulled that down so that I could scrub it without it, like the dirt falling down into the machine. So that is now looking, oh, it's still a bit grubby actually, but the bit I want to polish is just this section here. So and my toothbrush there. Now with this I only want a tiny little bit. Let's just pop a tiny bit there. And let me see if I can, because I don't really want auto sole going everywhere, so I'm just going to protect that. And same thing, I'm just going to clean it as is. Actually I put a little bit too much on, but that's okay. And let's try and get it going underneath. Down a bit more. Can you see that? Okay. There, I can see the auto sole is starting to go a different colour. It's also getting runnier. Now I'm doing this slowly because I don't want the toothbrush to be flicking auto sole into the machine, so I'm just doing a very gentle clean. Now in theory the faster you go, the better the polish starts to work in, but I really want to be careful. Now I don't know what auto sole will do to a machine, so I'm just taking off the excess, and then I will get my duster. Let's try and now, as much as I would like to be a perfectionist, I'm not. I can't. With this machine, it's not going to be perfect, but it will be good enough, I think. Okay, so that's come up lots of shiny, well, much shinier than it was before. Right, let me just take the camera off so you can have a look up close. So yeah, that is looking better than it was. There you go. Yeah, it just looks, and all this rust and muck's come off. What was the other thing I was going to show you? Let me just going to hold with one hand, do the spin. Okay, so Sorry, that was really jiggly. Try and focus. So that is now all nice and clean. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to polish this because this is nice and clean anyway, so I don't think it needs a polish. You don't have to polish everything. But the inside is now, oh, stupid thing won't focus. There. It's a lot cleaner than it was. What I'm going to do next, I won't do it off camera. I won't do it on camera. But this section I want to be able to polish up. This is stuck, can't get it off, and my screw clamp is also stuck and won't come off. So I have to polish that in situ, but I'm going to do exactly the same that I just did with the spool pin, not with that bit, but I'm going to just wrap string around and just polish up and down and try and get that a bit shinier and cleaner. What I can also do is very carefully put the string around here and give this bit of polish, and the same thing down here, and just polish up the needle clamp. Then I will come up and I will try to polish these bits. Not that, I'm not going to worry about that, but this bit I will try to polish up a bit more as well. And then I can, my next job is the underside, but that is absolutely going to be a different video, and maybe on high speed, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that because I'm not looking forward to it. It's so filthy. But this is done. I haven't oiled it yet, but it's clean. So that's what I'm going to do next, is just polish up this arm so that bit's done. Then I'll flip it on its side. Okay.